Sorry.
So even when you're looking at the map, you think, oh, it looks like place.
Keep the coal in the hole! The gas in the ground! The oil in the soil! That makes common sense! Do you want me to chant it again? Or do you want me to crack off?
No, chant it again.
Keep the coal in the hole! The gas in the ground! The oil in the soil! That makes common sense! Do you want me to chant it again?
One more
Or do you want me
time.
to crack off?
Yeah, we had a climate protest, but it's not the kind of. Well, I think it's a mixture. I think the climate, what they're talking about, is the climate of the situation we're in, as in like the wars and stuff like that. I don't think it's too much about climate change and stuff like that. It's more about the war. I believe anyway. I want to see if I can stand on these stairs and get a better picture. See what we got here. Yeah, that's the British Museum. We're looking at the British Museum right here in front of us. Free everyone that's facing genocide, not just Palestine, but Congo, Sudan, everyone that's facing genocide right now. No disrespect, but it's kind of trendy for people to be talking about free Palestine, but they forget that, there's a lot of people facing genocide right now. Well, this was this was supposed to be started at 12 o'clock. And it's supposed to be a march. But, right now it's 20 minutes to 1 o'clock. There's a lot of different organizations here today. I see the Socialist Party. I see Greenpeace. I'm not sure how many people are, but what I can say is that today is Saturday. It's a weekend. So make that what you want. This is a climate justice march.
We must end fossil fuels. We must demand that the UK and other rich nations pay up for the damage they've caused, and we must end the ongoing genocide against the people of Palestine. And I'm proud that as a climate movement, not just here in the UK, but globally, we are coming out and we are saying that the climate crisis and genocide in Gaza are inextricably linked, and we must put an end to both. Because without human rights, there cannot be any climate justice. There cannot be climate justice whilst tens of thousands are being massacred, while millions are losing their homes and having their land destroyed. There cannot be climate justice while there is the ongoing suffering of colonized peoples. Because the climate crisis is resulted from our oppressive, extractive global system, which don't value the lives of those who are black, brown, indigenous, or poor. And then the climate crisis has amplified the existing inequalities that are baked into the system. And it's the same political, economic system and those in power who are now again not valuing the lives of those who are oppressed and deeming their lives as expendable. So when we demand justice, we are demanding an end to the oppressive systems that allow complicity in genocide, that allows the lives of those who are black, brown, indigenous or poor to be deemed less valuable. We demand that our government stop enabling death and destruction. And that means ending fossil fuels, that means paying up for the damage we've caused, and that means ending complicity in genocide. And it's the very same fossil fuel corporations that are driving the climate crisis and blocking the transition are the ones that are funneling oil right now to Israel that it needs for its war machine. If we're to have any hope of a livable planet, we must divest from war and destruction and invest in a just, ecological and equitable transition. They have spent hundreds and hundreds of years taking everything from our planet, profiting from extraction, from destruction and death. They've profited from destroying the lands, the lives and livelihoods of communities across the global south. And now these same corporations are profiting from genocide. We demand an end to this destructive extractive industry. We demand climate justice. And without human rights, without a free Palestine, there cannot be climate justice. So, without further ado, we're going to introduce two speakers and then we're going to set off on our march. So the first speaker to introduce is Layla from the Energy Embargo for Palestine. Layla.
supplied to the Zionist entity. We demand an energy embargo because we know that the future of Gaza is the future of all humanity. As we are on the streets because of our love for people and planet, we know that a dignified life on our planet currently hinges on the fate of the Palestinian struggle in Gaza, because it is a fight against all the forces that destroy life. It is a fight against US imperialism and Zionism. Over the past year, we have all witnessed the most televised genocide in human history. Israel's military jets and vehicles have been live streamed, razing to the ground all infrastructure that makes life possible in Gaza, from schools to hospitals and even the desecration of cemeteries. Israel's mass murder of over 150,000 Palestinians would be impossible if it was not for the fuel supplied by energy companies. BP, British Petroleum, a colonial climate criminal headquartered in Britain, operates and owns the majority of an oil field in Azerbaijan that provides Israel with 30% of its oil via the Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan oil pipeline. BP, shame! BP, responsible for orchestrating coups in Iran, in Azerbaijan, oil spills in Mexico, ethnic cleansing of Armenians, gas flares in Iraq, and now, alongside the state oil company of Azerbaijan Republic, responsible for fueling the Zionist genocidal onslaught on Palestine, on Lebanon, and the wider region. Shame! This is the legacy of British imperialism. This is what US imperialism continues to reproduce. We must name the systems that keep the boot on our neck. Today, we are standing outside the British Museum, a key propaganda arm for BP. Whilst BP invests £50 million into the British Museum, the museum cloaks its political corrupt lobbying as investments in the arts. The British Museum, built to showcase the bounties of British colonial looting, built using wealth drained from the colonies, to this day is complicit in colonial genocide through its £50 million partnership with BP. Shame! For months, we have disrupted operations for the British Museum alongside workers, parents, children, because we believe that fossil companies have no place in our arts. Whilst over 300 cultural landmarks are demolished by Zionist forces in Gaza, there can be no business as usual when cultural development in Britain is sponsored by ethnic cleansing and genocide, carried out with the blessing of British energy companies. Shame! We mark our march today as one of many actions around the world targeting BP and SOCAR offices as part of a Stop Fueling Genocide campaign. We have comrades in Turkey, Switzerland, Spain, Jordan, Washington, New York, and more. We demand during the fast, that is COP29, held in the very country that is responsible for 30% of Israel's total oil imports, that Turkey, Azerbaijan, SOCAR, and BP stop supplying oil to the Zionist entity. We know that we cannot rely on the moral conscience of states, of energy companies to act, which is why we must keep organizing and keep disrupting these supply chains together. I'm going to leave you with a final note. The word Palestine is climate justice is repeated in our movement a lot. We must know today that these are not just words. When we say this, we know that this is a lifelong material commitment. It necessitates the absolute transformation of the way we all live in the imperial core. So let your commitment to Palestine and the fight for a better world give you your reason to live, to struggle, to revolt. Repeat after me. From the belly of the beast, hands up the Middle East. From the belly of the beast, hands up the Middle East. No
Thanks so much for Layla there. Incredibly powerful words. And just one more time for Layla. Incredible words. We all need to take to heart that when we say climate activists for a free Palestine, when we say the climate justice movement is coming out for Palestine, it isn't just a one-time thing. These aren't just empty words. We've come out here today, but this isn't the end. This is just a start. We are building our movement of movements together. We must combine together our different justice struggles against our oppressive systems. And this is just a very, very beginning of us continuing to organize, mobilize, and build power together. Really excited. This is our next speaker now, Avery from Youth Demand.
Thank you so much. It is absolutely incredible to be here today, to see so many faces in the street. We filled this street up, to have all of these groups joining forces together and to really feel the energy. I'm really grateful to be here today speaking on behalf of Youth Demand. I want to take a moment first to remember exactly why we're here today. We're here because over 43,000 people have been murdered in Gaza.
No, we're not. We're here for a
And the predicted death toll is actually over 186,000 people. We're here today because we've blown past the 1.5 degree global temperature limit that we've been told we cannot pass for years. We're here because 90% of Gazans have been displaced, have had to leave their homes. We're here because we are on track to 1 billion climate refugees by 2030. We're here because the number of children killed in Gaza in 4 months earlier this year is higher than in 4 recent years of worldwide conflict. We've all heard the stories of babies being blown to pieces, of children having to go through amputations without anesthetic. It's horrifying. We're here because we are seeing unprecedented climate disasters happening week after week after week. Over 200 people were just killed in Valencia in the floods just earlier this month. We're here because we are all witnesses to both climate collapse and genocide of the Palestinian people. And this climate crisis and this genocide in Gaza are ultimately created and propped up by the same fucked, murderous system. We're currently trapped in a system that deliberately and relentlessly values money over human life. Because murder means profit, and profit is all that matters. As young people, our generation has been placed on death row by this system. But we reject this deal. We refuse to condemn not only our generation, but all future generations to this same murderous system and the destruction it leaves behind. We all have the choice in this moment right now to be part of the change that's required. But when this is what we're up against, we need to be doing more. A to B marches are important, but I think we all fundamentally understand that the monumental change that we need to create desperately doesn't happen just by going on a march and then going home. We've been marching for climate for decades, and we've been marching for Palestine more than weekly for over a year. We need to really take to the streets. We need to engage in mass civil resistance. Because we know that the ultimate goal of this is not and cannot be incremental change. We can't stop at just an arms embargo. We can't stop at just the revoking of the Rosebank license, or at a ceasefire, or at an end to oil and gas. The ultimate goal that we need to be striving towards is to replace this system with one that doesn't just profit, doesn't just serve an elite few, but all of us. All of us. One that places human life and the quality of that life above profit. So, to create a system that serves all of us, that requires all of us on the streets, and not just marching, but disrupting and shutting it down. It requires mass civil resistance so that we can't be ignored, so that we can stand in the way of genocide and build a truly democratic revolution. As young people today, we had no choice in when we were born. I don't think many of us would have chosen to be alive at a time of unprecedented global upheaval. But what we do have a choice in is what we do about it. And we can create change. We can do what we're doing now. We can stand shoulder to shoulder and refuse to move. When we all make that choice, we create the system-wide overhaul that's needed to stop the genocide in Gaza, to stop the global climate genocide, and to stop my entire generation from being sentenced to death. It's our future, so we'll take it from here. So, join us as we march today, and join us. You can take action, you can come to a talk, you can volunteer with Youth Demand, as we engage in non-violent civil resistance to demand a two-way arms embargo on Israel and to revoke the Tory oil and gas licenses. We need to stand up now and make this change today. Free, free! Thank you.
Slavery, and really important point made around so great that we all come out together, we mobilise in the streets, but equally, if not more important, what we do in between these mobilisations. How are we organising our communities? How are we building power? And how are we going to coordinate and strategise to get the system change that we need? We're going to have one more speaker before we set off on our march, and I'm really happy to introduce Jack Hill from the Congolese Action Youth Platform.
Hi everyone, so my name is Yakil. I'm from the Congo and I represent the Congolese Action Youth Platform. We are based here in the UK and also in the Congo. As you know, there's been war happening in the eastern part of DRC, and the war is because of the natural resources that the country has. I'm originally from the Congo. I've lived here for a good while, so my friend Jackson probably has gone. However, it is important to recognize that with capitalism, in a way, it has an effect of the people working, the miners or the children working there in the Congo and losing a lot of, whether it is the cobalt or even the coltan happening there in DRC. And I believe that it is important, the green revolution, now we have more and more electric cars happening. We have to realize that there are some children working for that, and we also need to make sure that it is equal for everyone, and that we can all be on the same space or place rather than just them being exploited. So I would also invite you to be with us, with the Congolese people, to take part into recognizing what's happening there for the past 30 years, and making sure that all as a nation, as a mankind, we all go forward. So on that note, I thank you for giving me this platform to talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rafael. And such an important point that we cannot forget, that when we are fighting for our transition, we're fighting to end fossil fuel. The reason we say just, the reason we say equitable and fair, is if we don't fight for a just transition, then they will just try and keep business as usual, replace our fossil fuel with extracting lithium, cobalt, coltan from areas like the Democratic Republic of Congo, not caring about the exploitation of labour, turning that land into a sacrifice zone, just so we can uphold our normal standard of life here. That isn't a just transition, and that isn't climate justice. So, we are about to set off on our march now. We'll all be turning around as we walk past the British Museum, as we know, sponsored by BP. We go past SOCAR, the second biggest shareholder in the BTC pipeline, pulling all the oil from Israel's war machine, and down to Downing Street to hold the UK government accountable. So thank you for coming out, and let's march for global climate justice.
Greens for Palestine. Stop arming Israel. Climate justice. Human rights. Indigenous people make up 6% of the world's population, but protect 80% of the world's biodiversity. Anti-capitalist resistance, fighting disaster capitalism with eco-socialism. Love nature, stop rose banking. Fiji needs funds to relocate vulnerable communities. Dump Trump. Fight bigotry. We demand a fossil fuel treaty and the fossil fuel era. Latin Americans stand with Palestine and the genocide. Climate activists for a free Palestine. For people and planet. Friends of the Earth. Friends of the Earth Brumley. Once dead climate action. Trump, climate disaster. I think that's it. Alright, we just got to the back.
Free the people, free the land. 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 No peace on stolen 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 land. Free the people, free the land. Free the people, free the land. Justice is our demand. Justice is our demand. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the sea to the river,
Palestine will live
from the
for.
sea to the river, from the sea to the river,
Palestine will live forever.
Palestine will live forever. Palestine will live forever.
Hey man, it's a catchy tune. It's a catchy tune. Your mother's a right, Mel. Today is Saturday. It's the weekend. Yeah, a lot of people work on Saturdays. Obviously not these people. Nope.
Waking you up in the morning, or you having a nice Saturday lunch?
So to the person that said, obviously not me either. my normal works Monday to Friday. Saturday and Sunday is, obviously for personal time, but also I'm a paid YouTuber. So this is classified as work if you look at it that way. So I'm getting paid for it. So and all these people complaining about, these people not working. You're here watching this. So my question to you is, why are you watching this and not working yourself? If you look at the name of the YouTube channel, it's just filming really. I don't agree or disagree. I'm just here filming. You're right, mate.
Oh yeah. I'll take pictures and then just
Name of the channel, Just Filming Really. I don't agree nor disagree. I just believe in freedom of speech, and that's it. I think the problem we got here is that this march, it's by a few organizations. So you got the climate protesters mixed in with the Palestine protesters, mixed in with the Greenpeace protesters. So you got some people chanting climate stuff, at the same time you got people chanting Palestine stuff, same time people chanting Ukraine stuff. So I think it's all being lost.
What does the red stripe mean on your
This?
shoulder? Yeah.
I'm the inspector.
You're the inspector, yeah? You're the head boss.
I'm in charge of what? 3 sergeants and 24 PCs.
Okay, so the
I'm
sergeant.
not quite the boss. I'm not quite the big boss.
Okay, so
but I'm in charge of a group of people.
A group of people. Yeah. So what colour do the sergeants wear?
White.
White. All right, no worries. Cheers, mate.
Alright, mate. No worries.
Cheers.
see what I mean about how you got different protesters, different marches mixed into one. This looks like it's the front, doesn't it? So who are they? Who are they a part of?
Sorry, James, you're not on the BLT1. The main group are now turning right in the order of the beginning.
I mean is getting lost. They're singing no more gas, no more oil, keep it in the soil. At the same time, they're singing free Palestine, free Palestine.
the crimes in your name! All 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 the crimes in your name!
Stop fueling genocide!
Stop fueling genocide!
Stop fueling genocide!
Stop fueling genocide!
BP so-called shame! Shame!
BP so-called shame! Shame!
Come up! The building you are looking at is so-called shame!
Shame!
The building you are looking at is so-called shame!
Shame!
So-called fueling genocide! Shame!
Shame!
The building you are looking at is so-called
Shame! Shame!
the state oil company of other behalf! Shame!
Shame!
There is no better time to target so-called the ground now! Use what you know to defeat owners in other
I honestly think we're going to hear today.
Check this out, man.
I think it's, yeah, I don't know what's KPA, but actually,
These kids here are trouble, man. These kids are trouble.
saves you fucking always having to look over your shoulder and get things out. coming this way, aren't they? Every time I turn around, I keep getting in the way of your camera.
kicking off? Is it kicking off? It's kicking off. 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 This is a counter. This is a little counter protest.
Hello. Hi everyone. We've completed first part of today, and it's just been so amazing to see so many groups out, so many movements, so many people to call for climate justice and to call for an end to the genocide. So give everyone here, give yourselves a massive round of applause for coming out together. Because we know the people united, we will never be defeated, which means we will continue to come out together. We will continue to march together, to build power together, and to fight the struggle together. So we're fighting against the same unjust systems, the same oppressive systems, the same systems that do not care about everyday people, that do not care about those people of colour, marginalised communities everywhere, and who are always happy to prop up their own profit machine and make sure they can live their own lives as normal. But we say no more. We the people are as powerful as those elites. We the people are as powerful as those who go in that parliament down there and reside in Downing Street. The people together have the power. So we must continue to come out as a movement of movements, whether we're here for climate justice, workers' rights, for freedom for Palestine, for LGBTIQA plus rights. We're all here together. We're in a struggle together. We are here together united. So, really excited to introduce our first speaker here this afternoon rally, Neha Shah from the Palestine Solidarity Campaign.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you to the Climate Justice Coalition for organising such an important action today. And it's really wonderful just looking around now to see so many familiar faces who have organised the vibrant and wonderful climate blocks at the national demonstrations for Palestinian freedom and justice that we've co-organised over the last year and a bit. And it's this kind of flourishing alliance between the climate movement and the movement for Palestinian liberation that has been one of the most heartening features of the enormous mobilisation for Palestine that we've seen over the past year. The Palestinian struggle is, and always has been, a struggle against colonialism. For over 100 years, the Palestinians have resisted the theft of their lives and their land from an entire system of colonial extraction. A system that can only survive by enacting genocide. A system that demands ever more land and resources to be squandered for profit. And a system that's shored up by Western weapons, financed by Western banks, and powered by fossil fuel companies. The same interests that are right now, at this very moment, burning Palestinian men, women, and children alive in their tents and in their hospital beds, are also burning our planet. At every level, the struggles for Palestinian freedom and climate justice are intertwined by our common resistance against the forces of colonialism. One of the PSC's key campaigns in recent years has been against Barclays Bank, which holds over £1 billion in shares and provides over £3 billion in loans to companies that provide direct support for Israel's apartheid and its genocidal attack on Gaza. The same bank provides tens of billions of pounds in financing to oil companies like ExxonMobil and Shell, who wreak devastation on our planet. Together with the climate justice movement, we have already scored significant victories against Barclays, including pressuring multiple music festivals to drop Barclays as a sponsor, and organising for thousands of companies and individuals to stop banking with Barclays. And we know that we can keep up the pressure and force Barclays to end its financing of death and destruction if we continue to fight together. So friends, today let us renew our determination to struggle with unity, with coordination, with steadfastness and with conviction against the forces of colonialism. Let us renew our efforts to destroy an entire system that allows anyone in any Western capital to draw dividing lines on maps, place presidents in palaces, or exploit essential resources from our own. Woo! We are guided always by the heroic resistance of the Palestinian people and of all the anti-colonial peoples of the world. They provide the alternative to European colonization and extraction. All across Asia, Africa, and Latin America, Indigenous peoples treasure their connection to their land as a source of life, sustenance and meaning, not of profit. They teach us exactly what it means to defend and value our land and our natural resources. They proudly assert the people are the land and the land is the people. As we continue to face the crisis of climate emergency, there is another even more important lesson to take from the Palestinian people. Against a live-stream genocide with the active participation of the great imperial powers, the Palestinian people continue to resist, undivided, unbowed, and unbroken. They stand steadfast on their ancestral land. They are an example and a light to all of us in our struggle against fossil capital. They inspire us, they teach us, and they fight for us. And that is why on every demonstration for Palestine, in every town and every city across the country and across the whole world, we proudly chant, in our thousands, in our millions.
We are all Palestinians!
In our thousands, in our millions.
We are all Palestinians!
In our thousands, in our millions.
We are all Palestinians!
And across the world, in our millions, in our billions.
We are all Palestinians!
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So we're in this really precarious stall here that I'm not sure is the best idea, but we're trying. But thank you so much to Neha and so eloquently explaining and really showing us all why our fights for justice are together. Whether it's the joint targets we're fighting against, Barclays complicit in genocide, complicit in climate breakdown, BP fueling genocide, fueling climate breakdown. We see time and time again those purveyors, those architects of destruction are often the same, and that we must fight against them together. So with that, I'm excited to introduce our next speaker and good friend of mine, Zach Polanski, Deputy Leader of the Green Party and London Assembly Member.
Oh, it is precarious. Friends, we are here on Downing Street to say very clearly there is no environmental justice without social, racial, economic and international justice too. I have a few minutes and there is a lot to cover, so here is what I see as the basics. Right now there are droughts across South America. There are heat waves across West Africa. There are people dying in Valencia in Spain from floods. Meanwhile, this government freezes fuel duty and makes public transport more expensive, and we are enabling a genocide in Gaza, and we need to end arms sales now. These things can sound distant, but they are all interconnected. At best, they are a lack of vision from our leaders and our decision makers to imagine a better world. And at worst, they are the product of systemic racism and injustice propagated by hierarchies of military and vested and corporate interests. But we, the people united, will never be defeated. So what we need to do is what we are doing right now, is to come together in our communities to make sure that working class voices are heard. Minority community voices are heard. Indigenous communities are heard. People must not be silenced. We must raise their voices up. And we must say, whether it's in Downing Street or whether it's at international conferences, that together the people of this world who are in the minority but stand together to be the majority stand united. So what does this look like? It looks like a home insulation program for every single home in Britain. This is a triple win. It reduces bills, vital in a cost of living crisis, which is really driven by fossil fuels. It's vital in a cost of living crisis where we need more green jobs. We need to make sure there are trade unions, so people are treated with dignity at work and are paid proper living wages. And ultimately is about connecting the climate crisis with the wars that are going on, whether it's in Palestine, Sudan, Yemen, Syria, all around the world, where we must work for peace. So the final thing I want to say today is, are you ready to stand for justice?
Yes!
Are you ready to stand in your communities, to organise, to show compassion, to join political parties, to vote for candidates who stand for you and for your communities? And are you ready to stand for a better world?
Yes!
Then people, let's go. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Zach and Aya. Yes.
The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated.
Yes.
El pueblo unido, como será vencido.
We'll get that chant going later as well. We should definitely get more energy within this. But we'll go into our next speaker now in our fight for climate justice, our fight for a free Palestine. We heard earlier that's also a fight for a free Congo, and it is a fight for a free Sudan. And with that, I'm really excited to introduce our next speaker, British Sudanese civil engineer, climate founder and poet, Mohammed Ghaffar. Mohammed.
Hi everyone, thanks for organising this, and yeah, as everyone said, a lot to say in a very short amount of time, so I'll get straight into it. On April 15th, 2023, a war erupted in Sudan between the two most powerful entities, the Rapid Support Forces, RSF, a paramilitary group, and the Sudan Armed Forces, SAF, over power and control of the vast resources that belong to the people of Sudan. A war influenced and manufactured outside of Sudan with devastating effects on people and the planet. It's incredibly difficult to convey the horrific violence, the depths of destruction and despair, and the scale of the humanitarian crises the people of Sudan have been pushed into over the last 581 days. Quick trigger warning, mentions of death, sexual violence, rape, and suicide. So, with that being said, a recent study estimated the death toll as more than about 61,000 people who have died since the war broke out last year, and some going as far as saying over 200,000. And the scale of violent deaths is unprecedented. Experts now calling this one of the most disturbing wars of the 21st century. Preventable disease and starvation has been used as a weapon of war, plunging 25 million people into acute hunger. That's half of Sudan's population. And now more than 14 million people have been displaced, with 11 million of those internally multiple times. Rape and sexual violence has become so prevalent in this war that very recently, over 100 women in Jazeera State in Sudan committed mass suicide to avoid this very fate. Those are the same women that were leading the Sudanese revolution in 2019 that dethroned a 30-year dictator and created a hope that a civilian-led transition would be delivered. It's one of the biggest crises in the world right now, and yet we, the Sudanese diaspora, have had to plead for our humanity, for people to listen to our plight, which continues to be purposefully ignored by those who benefit from the demise and death in Sudan. It's disgusting. External actors like the UK, EU, US and UAE have had a direct role in this war and have gone to great lengths to advance their interests. Sudan's resources are vast, with gold mines, minerals, farmland and cattle. The RSF has long had control of Sudan's gold mines and have long been backed by the UAE, who funds and arms them via the US to prop up their country's gold market and strengthen their overall position in the region. The UK, one of the UAE's allies, has gone as far as suppressing criticism in this country of UAE for their funding of this war. And the UK has historically funded the RSF alongside the EU to the tune of around 200 million in what was now known as the Khartoum process, where the RSF were used to violently stem the flow of migrants from the Horn of Africa to Europe. So all of them are complicit in this war. Shame on them all. Shame.
Shame on
And of course, there is always a climate angle when there is any humanitarian crisis. Sudan's fertile farmland has relied on traditional sustainable farming methods that preserve the land and environment. Conflicts consistently have arisen for control of this vital resource. And when farmers are displaced by violence, these practices halt and the land loses many things. One of the reasons why so many people are in hunger, but also its natural flood protection. And this has worsened flooding and deepened the hardships for displaced people. I've got a short extract from one of my poems. It's called Flood and Justice. We're flooded by injustice, and yet we're wasting time. We're waist-deep high. We're wading through murky waters where there used to be grazing and no savings lie. We're trudging through a truth so insufferable that we'll pay the price to accept the lie. We talk climate and injustice, but justice won't suffice. You tell me, who's going to pay the price? Because there's no justice, just us. The undercurrent, as always, is beyond just the people who are controlling this for their vested interests. Time and time again, black, brown, and people of color are continuing to be shown, no matter what we are told to believe, that our bodies, our lives, our plight, and our death is somehow less meaningful. It's exhausting, it makes me sick to my stomach, and it's embarrassing. Nothing I have said about the horrors inflicted on my people today will do anything if people aren't able to have even a shred of empathy, and we need to mobilize to act on the injustices we all collectively face. Free Sudan, free Palestine, free Congo, stop the genocides, climate justice now!
Thank you so much, Mohammed, and real clear and stark reminder of why we cannot fight for justice if we're not fighting against the oppression faced by so many communities worldwide. And with that, right now we have the UN Climate Summit COP29 taking place in Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan, a country which itself is undertaking human rights abuses, oppression, and ethnic cleansing of the Armenian people. So with that, we can't leave any struggle unheard and any oppression unheard. So our next speaker is Nana, an OSI research and analyst from Artsakh, the region currently being ethnically cleansed by Azerbaijan. Nana.
This is actually a little daunting because this is actually very precarious, but not as precarious as the obstacles we face today. I want to take a moment, because it is an incredible privilege to be here representing indigenous people of Artsakh, the indigenous Armenians. For the first time in history, in 5,000 years, there is no Armenian in Artsakh, there is no Armenian in Nagorno-Karabakh. And Azerbaijan, much like Israel, much like Turkey, and unfortunately much like the United Kingdom, would like for us not to think about that. But before I go into the story of Artsakh and why it is important for us to understand as indigenous people, as stewards of the land, people who fight with their lives to protect and stave off the worst of climate change, I want us to take a look around. People who are looking at me, look behind you, and look at all of the flags and all of the different types of people who are here, who are in solidarity with us. I know that us standing aside from 10 Downing and looking out like this, they are scared shitless that we are together, and this is our power. I want to say that we are here with urgency and rage because we understand that the main group that has been killed in Israel's genocide in Gaza has been children from 5 to 9 years old. The second group is 10 to 14. BP, Sokar, and the BTC pipeline, the Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan pipeline, funds this genocide. They fund the killing of children. And this is a shame. I want everyone to scream, shame. Shame! It is a crime. Almost 4 years ago, Azerbaijan launched a full-scale military offensive on Artsakh. It then proceeded in the years since to facilitate a near total blockade of humanitarian aid, of food, of medical assistance. It left people without electricity through the cold. Does that sound familiar? It should. right? We know that these actions are all unified under an imperial power. We know that we as citizens of these imperial powers, myself from the United States, you all some from the United Kingdom, know that our governments are complicit in genocide and we will not allow it. The message to Sokar, to BP, to Azerbaijan, to Turkey, to the Zionist entity, and the people who defend this is the same. No matter how much money you spend on the media, no matter how much you lobby MPs or elected officials, we know who you are and we know who you are not. You are not the civilizing force you claim to be. You kill children. You are not a leader in our region, not on climate justice, not on human rights, not on anything but hypocrisy, and you're not fooling anyone anymore. Your presence on the land is illegitimate because of your imperial violence. And if you do not want to be called a colonizer, stop acting like one. Those of us who know genocide, and this is what I will end on because I know that there are a number of speakers here who can represent this, unfortunately know that our generations have been stolen from us, our land has been taken and it is occupied, and we are scattered here in diaspora. We have been betrayed by never again. Never again has always been something that's a bit of a half-hearted plea or a suggestion. I want all of us here to say never again like it is a demand, like it is a commandment, and like it is an ultimatum. It is an ultimatum. We will make it so. I want to thank Energy Embargo for Palestine in particular for including me in your actions. And I do, again, want to remind everyone, look around, look at all of these flags and look at all of these different people. They will have us believing we are divided and we are absolutely not. Free Palestine.
Thank you, and thanks so much to Nana there. And we have been given a statement to read out today as well, and I think it's an important one to read out, so we'll do so before we move on to the next speakers. And this is a statement from the Democracy Hub in Ghana. As we march in solidarity with movements worldwide, we must shine a spotlight on Ghana's environmental and climate challenges, which are destroying our ecosystems and devastating the lives of our people, particularly our farmers and rural communities. Ghana, a country rich in natural resources, is seeing its land, rivers and forests suffer the consequences of illegal and unsustainable mining, as well as poorly regulated mineral exploitation. And in Ghana, the fight for climate justice cannot be separated from the fight against illegal mining, known locally as galamsey, and its destructive impact on our environment. These practices have left toxic waste and polluted rivers across our communities. Once pristine rivers like the Pra, the Ankara and the Offin now flow murky and lifeless, contaminated with harmful chemicals, especially mercury, which endangers both the health of local populations and the biodiversity we once depended on. This devastation impacts our people directly, depriving communities of clean water, a fundamental human right, and threatening our nation's agricultural foundation. Illegal mining has fueled deforestation at an alarming rate. Ghana, home of one of the most biodiverse forest regions in West Africa, loses approximately 2% of its forest cover annually. This deforestation is largely driven by small-scale and illegal mining activities that have expanded unchecked across the countryside. Each tree felled in Ghana not only accelerates climate change, but disrupts the lives of indigenous communities that have lived in harmony with these forests for generations. It is not only an ecological loss, but a cultural one. And the call to action, as world leaders gather for COP29, this environmental crisis in Ghana serves as a reminder of the need for true climate justice, which means standing against environmental exploitation, not just for emission reductions targets, but for the human rights of those who are disproportionately affected. So the call to local governments, we call upon Ghana's government and the global community to enforce stringent regulation on mining activities, prioritize sustainable practices, and hold projects that rob communities of their land and livelihoods. We push for climate financing to echo the global demand to end fossil fuel dependency and push for climate finance. And we call for all leaders and the global community and the diaspora to prioritize the protection of communities over profit, to value natural resources over mineral wealth, and to recognize that without protecting our land and water, there is no future. So this is for our comrades, our movements in Ghana, all of West Africa, and all of the world who are disproportionately being affected by the impacts of climate breakdown. I've lost my list of speakers. And next, I want to introduce our next speaker. I don't know if I've told him that they're speaking. It's going to be Dorothy Guerrero, who works with the Women's Africans Alliance and with London Mining Network, and is just an incredible activist that if you've not had the pleasure of hearing from before, you're going to hear from right now. Dorothy.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, okay, so I think this is adjusted now. Hello, everyone, and I have not attended the London March before because I used to be in the COP, and this time I'm not there. I'm here with all of you. If you will look at the history of the COP, it's a history of delay, it's a history of lies, it's a history of the northern countries saying things that they're not prepared to give. It's a history of southern countries that are demanding, pleading for climate justice, for the climate debt of the debtor countries, which is the north, and of course for action, commensurate action for climate change. And until now, after 29 COP, that is not coming. That's a shame.
Shame!
If we would look at the first decision they did, the first agreement on the first day of Baku, the gavel was banned to act on on carbon markets. So if we look at that and the history of Baku, let me get you into a short trip down history lane. Baku is the site of the first conference of the people of the East in 1920. This is the first conference where all anti-imperialist liberation movement, 1,900 delegates came to fight imperialism. And now fast forward, 2024, we have seen Baku as the selling out of the people of the South. It's a selling out of people who are clamoring for climate justice. It's a sellout for people who wanted a phase out of fossil fuels. If we would look at one of the agreements last year, they have said that the world should move away from fossil fuels. But what happened? Immediately after that, new licenses, new plans on oil expansion emerged. And if we look at Africa, Central and East Africa and West Africa, they're busy planning new oil expansion. So what is happening is not fossil fuel phase out. What is happening is energy expansion. Of course, there's a need to respond to countries that are still at this point experiencing energy poverty. But as the demand for more minerals are coming because of that energy expansion, because people in the South also need electricity, there are still countries wherein rural areas still suffer from blackout and also no electricity at all. But what is happening is with that demand of minerals, the transition is not happening. What is happening is that it is driving ever more extractivism. So if we equate extensive mining, destructive mining, and answering the need for climate, we have to connect those issues. Yes, we wanted the end of fossil fuels. Yes, we wanted and need electricity for everyone. Yes, we need to solve the energy poverty for everyone. But that doesn't mean that we leave people behind. That doesn't mean that we will do more extractivism that are harmful to communities, that we will do extractivism that will create new sacrifice zones. So that is one clear discussion that is not happening in Baku. So we always say, we always demand year in, year out, every year, what do we want?
Climate justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
But it is not happening. Why? Because the powerful don't want it to happen. Because the powerful still wanted to put profiteering before people. And that is what Baku is showing at the moment. We don't need to mobilize just for the sake of mobilizing. We have all this repertoire of action wherein we have dates when we march. Actually, working for climate justice should be a year in, year out activity. We should be busy organizing, we should be busy mobilizing. And those are different. We need to organize, at the same time mobilize. Lastly, my last point, we are facing Trump 2.0. So this will totally change, should totally change the way we act, the way we organize, the way we mobilize. We have a president in the most powerful country in the world who doesn't believe in climate change. We have a president in the most powerful country in the world who will not stop extracting oil. Shame! Take oil till the last drop. And our government here is supportive of that. Because shame! Also, fossil fuel means profit. Fossil fuel means protecting interests of the powerful and the profiteers. We have to stop that. We have to stop from now on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks so much to Dorothy, for a brilliant speech here, and again, really showing clear why our transition can't leave anybody behind. And one thing we haven't heard from yet today is all the communities worldwide who can't be left by our transition, but another community who cannot be left behind in our transition is our workers, and the workers who need to be leading our transition here in the UK and globally as well. And with that, I'm excited to bring in Graham Peterson, representing the GKN former auto factory struggle in Florence, and speak about worker-led transitions.
Right, thanks very much for this invitation. We would have liked to have actually had a GKN worker from Florence addressing you, but as we speak, they're actually in an assembly in Florence to decide on the future of their struggle. Now, some of you will know about this dispute, others may not. I would urge you to have a look at the Real News website to actually get all the background, because this is such an important dispute. It's an inspirational struggle that's actually inspired millions of people in Italy and across Europe. And why is that? Well, the workers were sacked over 3 years ago by GKN, British company, in conjunction with another British company, Melrose, that took over the factory. And Melrose, like so many of these corporations, turned out to be an asset stripping operation. I mean, if you go on their website, they talk about sustainability being one of their goals. But they decided to close the factory down, and the workers that have been in occupation were left outside. But they maintained what they called a permanent assembly. And the term that they've used to characterize their struggle is something called insorgiamo. Now, insorgiamo, excuse my Italian, but that does mean we rise up. And that characterises how they've approached this whole dispute that's been going on for over 3 years now. It's electrified the communities around Florence and the rest of Italy, because what they've done is, in a way, like this demonstration, they've linked in with a whole range of other social justice struggles. So they've reached out to the health and safety movements, they've reached out to migrant workers, they've reached out to transgender groups. In particular, you can't go on one of their demonstrations or go to their assemblies without seeing that Palestine and ending the genocide in Gaza is a huge part of their struggle. And not least, they've of course linked it into the climate justice movement. What they've done is they've put together an alternative plan. Previously, when they were employed at GKN, they were making parts for luxury cars like Lamborghini and Ferrari, products that obviously the workers themselves could never afford to buy. Their alternative plans based around production of solar panels and cargo bikes. And this has been a well thought through policy where they've involved all sections of the communities around Florence, the universities and others, to actually try and put this scheme into practice. Now, we know over here that you can't talk about jobs without talking about climate impacts, and you can't talk about climate without talking about job impacts. So what we need to do in this country is obviously spread the lessons from this struggle, but also make sure that our trade union movement is fit for purpose to actually address these issues. The TUC did pass a motion in September which called on a year of climate action, for the trade union movement in this country to be engaged in a year of climate action with social justice climate groups. So that's people like yourselves. Now we want to make sure that the trade union movement lives up to that resolution. So we'll be making sure that over the next 6 months we actually show the films of Real News which have logged this struggle and show what it's about. That we do get this out in messages to workers and their unions. So what I'd like to do to finish up on is if we could send a message to our sisters and brothers in Florence using their struggle theme, and that is, when I say Insorgiamo, you say we rise up. Insorgiamo.
We rise up!
Okay, one more time so I can hear you in Florence. Insorgiamo.
We rise up!
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Graham. And thank you for everyone that's stuck around here. I know it's getting a little bit chilly, so we will be done in the next 10-15 minutes. But one of the things that's been so brilliant about today's march has been the different groups coming together and the different struggles coming together. And one of the things that we've been clearly noticed as well is the Ukrainian bloc that have also come out today to join us. So as we speak about the impacts of war and conflict, it's important that we make sure we give all a platform. So with that, I look forward to introducing Elena Ivashenko from the Campaign for Ukraine.
Hello everyone. We are really proud to join this incredible global community for global climate justice. Today we stand as Ukrainian delegation alongside our friends from the Ukraine Solidarity Campaign, which is a trade union-based campaign in support of Ukraine. And we are raising our voices for a future where nature and humanity are protected from harm. For Ukrainians, this fight is deeply personal. Russia's war has brought unimaginable destruction, not just to our homes, but to our land, rivers, forests and air. Ukraine is under fire, and so is the planet. But we are not here to speak of despair. We are here to call for action. We demand an end of Russian aggression, a stop to ecocide, a ban on fossil fuels, the main resource of the funding of the wars around the globe, and obviously of Russia's war in Ukraine. This is a global fight. Ecocide knows no borders, and justice cannot wait. Ukraine's voice must be a part of this movement. Thank you for standing with us, and thank you for standing for a better future. Thank you, everybody.
Big thank you to Elena there and for every group that's come out. It must be a real beautiful moment of seeing our different struggles for justice come together, and really feel proud that we're all here together as part of this moment today. The next speaker I want to bring in is good friend Yazan Miri to really put clear why there's no climate justice without migrant justice, and those who are denied the right to stay in their homes being systematically denied the right to move as well. So here, Yazan Miri from the Joint Council for the Welfare of Immigrants.
Right to move, right to stay, right to resist. We are here because you were there. We are here because the systems responsible for climate breakdown are the same systems forcing millions to flee their homes. These systems do not act by accident. They are deliberate in their destruction. In Gaza, 85,000 tons of explosives, 5 atomic bombs worth, have been dropped by Israel. This is what the violence of corporate greed looks like. Not the slow melting of glaciers, by the burning of homes, the suffocation of life, the destruction of entire ecosystems by bomb blockades and climate extremes. Bangladesh, Yemen, Pakistan, Syria, Iraq, DRC, Sudan, Armenia, the list is endless. And the UK, it plays its part. Colonialism never ended, and today it fuels the fire across the globe. British-made weapons in the hands of oppressive regimes. British corporations extracting, displacing, and destroying.
Shame! Shame!
British border policies denying people sanctuary from the chaos it helped create.
Shame!
It is not enough to talk about the climate destruction as an abstract tragedy. It is violence. It is war, and we must fight back. We must fight for the right to stay, the right to move, the right to resist, and the people of the global south bear the brunt of this crisis. For them, climate breakdown is not neutral. For us, climate breakdown is not neutral. It is a weapon. Entire communities are displaced while their land are plundered. They have the right to stay in their homes without fear of bombs or floods or starvation. They have the right to resist, and the resistance does not always be right. When governments and corporations devastate lives and land, they must face resistance that match the scale of their destruction. The people have the right to defend themselves against the systems that oppose them, against the system that oppress them. And when staying becomes impossible, they also have the right to move, to find safety, to rebuild their lives, and they have the right to do so with dignity, not as subject to pity, but as equals with cultures, histories, and struggles that must be respected. This is where we fail. In the UK, we deny them that right. Refugees are criminalized, migrants are turned into scapegoats, borders are tightened in the name of nationalism and profit. The hostile environment is a direct extension of the system of the same colonial violence that destroyed their homes.
Shame!
We must bring it down. That must be done. We must defend migrants' rights against the colonial border system, rip up policies that dehumanize people seeking safety, smash the hostile environment. This is not just about allowing people in. It is about dismantling the systems of power that forces people out.
Down with the system!
Boycotts are not enough. Petitions are not enough. Protests alone are not enough. We must unshackle ourselves from the chains of British colonialism. Stop clawing at the hands that strangle us. Break them. Fight them until they release their grip. We fight the corporations that profit from displacement, the governments that turn crisis into opportunities, the media that turns migrants into enemies. These are the architects of this violence, and they must be confronted head on. The climate crisis is here, the genocide is ongoing, and we are out of time. We must not settle for survival. We demand liberation, we demand justice, and we demand a future where everybody has the right to stay, the right to move, the right to resist. This is not a plea, this is a warning! We are here because because you were there. We are here because you were there. And we are not leaving this struggle until the systems that brought us here are torn down. Yes. Right to move, right to stay, right to resist.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Yazam, for those incredibly powerful words. And a real reminder that we are fighting for everybody to the right to live free and live with dignity. The key word that we can never, ever forget. So, with this, I want to introduce our last speaker. Very excited to introduce Days Agaji, incredible climate justice activist and someone who's brought our message to the masses recently in the walls of the Big Brother house. Here is Days.
There you go. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'm Days, and I've just been in the Big Brother house, which is a show about dystopian, and it's very funny because going in, I didn't expect it to be so difficult, but then coming out, it was actually almost equally as difficult to realise that we literally do live in a dystopia. We're living in a time of where we are more polarised than ever. We're living in a time of where we can't see each other. We're living in a time of where everything is so divided. And it's a time where we see so much suffering all across the world. And sometimes it feels absolutely hopeless. However, there is a reason why we're all here. It's because we know it's not hopeless. It's because we know that when we come together, we fight together really hard and things can change. I remember my first job was actually at Amnesty International, before all the climate stuff. I remember I worked in a campaign of where people would write letters all across the world, and they would write letters to defend people who are facing torture in places all across the world. And seeing the massive effects of when all of us come together, how everything can change so quickly, and we can protect each other, we can care for each other, we can stand for each other, totally changed my mind of what was possible. And going through that and recognising how interlinked our human rights are to the climate justice crisis, we need to recognise that in this time, this is not something that has come out of nowhere. This climate crisis has come out of a culture of exploitation, a culture of a lack of care, a culture of a lack of love, of where talking about love makes you a hippie, and this is fucked. I think we need to recognise, up with love. This is about humanity. This is about us deciding who we want to be and how do we live in that. You know, and I think people don't quite recognise that it's the actions we take, the little ones that are based in love, duty and care to ourselves, to one another, to the planet, are the things that's going to get us out of this. That's the thing that starts system change. I know that we talk about the big systems and we recognise that it feels sometimes it's so big that it can't change, but what happens if we decide to have the imagination that it could? What happens when we decide that we can have something totally different, the way all life on earth can truly flourish? And that's the world that the Palestinians are holding on and fighting for. So how dare us decide that that world is not possible? We need to recognise our role in this, our role as the people who don't have to live through this, the people who don't have to live underneath the Israeli state. We need to stand in solidarity with them, because in standing in solidarity with them, we're recognising that we can change the way that the whole world is. And we need to recognise that in this time, it takes courage to be the outlier. It takes courage to be the person who steps up. But that's the only thing we can do. That is the only option we have. Together, we can make this happen. Together, we can create change. Together, we can end up creating a world where the world flourishes. And it's our ability to recognise that this is totally possible, and this is something we're going to do together. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for all the organisers who've come out here and given their time. Thank you so much for everyone who's marched together and have shown up, even in cold weather. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative of it, and I'm so happy to be here. And yeah, this is awesome.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Days. And thanks to every speaker, every person that's come out here today. And what an important message for us to leave on there, that there is a message of hope. It is not all despair. there is a future we're fighting for. A better world is possible, where we can all live free, we can all live with dignity, and we can all stand in solidarity with each other. So thanks for coming out here today. And one last time, the people united will never be defeated. Thank you. Get home safe, etc., etc. Thanks.
Cheers, thanks for watching.